The Indian Air Force is the air arm of the Indian Armed Forces. It is the world's fourth largest air force in terms of both personnel and aircraft. Its primary responsibility is to secure Indian airspace and to conduct aerial warfare during a conflict. It was officially established on October 8, 1932 as an auxiliary air force of the British Empire, and the prefix Royal was added in 1945 in recognition of its services during World War II. After India became independent from the United Kingdom in 1947, the Royal Indian Air Force served the Dominion of India, with the prefix being dropped when India became a republic in 1950. Since independence, the Indian Air Force has been involved in 4 wars with neighboring Pakistan and 1 with the People's Republic of China. Other major operations undertaken by the Indian Air Force include Operation Vijay, Operation Meghdoot, Operation Cactus and Operation Pumale. Apart from conflicts, the Indian Air Force has been an active participant in United Nations peacekeeping missions. The Indian Air Force is divided into 5 operational and 2 functional commands. Each command is headed by an air officer commanding-in-chief with the rank of Air Marshal. The purpose of an operational command is to conduct military operations using aircraft within its area of responsibility, whereas the responsibility of functional commands is to maintain combat readiness. The number of aircraft in the Indian Air Force has been decreasing from the late 1990s due to retirement of older aircraft and several crashes. To deal with the depletion of force levels, the Indian Air Force has started to modernize its fleet. This includes both the upgrade of existing aircraft, equipment and infrastructure, as well as induction of new aircraft and equipment, both indigenous and imported. As new aircraft enter service and numbers recover, the Indian Air Force plans to have a fleet of 42 squadrons. Thank you. The People's Liberation Army Air Force is the aerial warfare service branch of the People's Liberation Army, the armed forces of the People's Republic of China. The PLAAF Air Force was officially established on November 11, 1949. The PLAAF Air Force has a strength of around 398,000 personnel and is the largest air force in Asia. With ongoing modernization, all older aircraft types in service are quickly being phased out and emphasis being placed on developing modern 4th, 5th generation fighters to replace them, along with 5th generation fighters in the near future. The People's Liberation Army Air Force operates a large and varied fleet of some 3,010+ aircraft, of which around 2,100 are combat aircraft, fighter, attack and bombers. According to the International Institute for Strategic Studies, People's Liberation Army Air Force combat pilots acquire an average of 100-150 flying hours per year. For a list of aircraft no longer flown by the People's Liberation Army Air Force, see List of historic aircraft of the People's Liberation Army Air Force. In the late 1980s, the primary mission of the People's Liberation Army Air Force was the defense of the mainland, and most aircraft were assigned to this role. A smaller number of ground attack and bomber units were assigned to air interdiction and possibly close air support, and some bomber units could be used for nuclear delivery. The force had only limited military airlift and aerial reconnaissance capabilities. In the early 1990s, the PLA Air Force began a program of modernization, motivated by the collapse of the Soviet Union, as well as the possibility of military conflict with the Republic of China and perhaps also involving the United States. This process began with the acquisition of Su-27s in the early 1990s and the development of various fourth-generation aircraft, including the domestic J-10 and the FC-1. The PLAAF also strove to improve its pilot training and continued to retire obsolete aircraft. This resulted in a reduction of the overall number of aircraft in the PLA Air Force with a concurrent increase in quality of its air fleet. The 21st century has seen the continuation of the modernization program with China's huge economic growth. It acquired 76 Su-30 MKKs from 2000 to 2003, and 24 upgraded Su-30 MK2s in 2004. Production of the J-10 fighter began in 2002 with an estimated 200 aircraft in service currently. The PLA Air Force also began developing its own tanker aircraft, which it previously lacked, by modifying old H-6 bomber, PLAAF 216. In 2005 it announced plans to buy approximately 30 IL-76 transport planes and 8 IL-78 tanker planes, which would greatly increase its troop airlift capability and offer extended range to many aircraft, though as of 2009 this deal is still on hold. Predictions of the PLA Air Force future aircraft fleet indicate that it will consist of large quantities of Chengdu J-10 and Shenyang J-11 as its main force, with J-16 and JH-7A as the PLA Air Force backbone precision strike fighters. Future stealth fighter projects such as the Chengdu J-20 will be inducted into the air fleet in small numbers, assigned to elite PLA Air Force selected pilots. The transport fleet will comprise Y-9 medium-range transport aircraft, along with the Soviet Ilyushin Il-76, and domestic Y-20 heavy transport aircraft. Its helicopter fleet will comprise Z-20, Z-15 and Mi-17 troop transporters, and the WZ-10 attack helicopter for its ground forces.